What is going on? Back in the garage, and today I'm gonna try and skin the driver's door. If you checked the last video, you seen I rebuilt the top hinges and I got the aftermarket door set. It's fitting a lot better than the previous because I did have a door and it fit like absolute dog shit, but this one fits way better. I did have one issue with it. This top bolt, the hinge plate, did not have full range of motion. It was welded on incorrectly. I just used a carbide burr, filed the side of the hinge plate down, got my range of motion, and I was able to get it fitting. Everything is looking great. The gap is a little wide in the back, but it's an aftermarket panel. We can fix that after the quarter panel, but overall fits very well. Back to the topic here. I did get a head start off camera. This is a Dynacorn skin, just like the door, and to my surprise, I wasn't expecting it. It came with the brace. Now I did drill out the brace because I want to keep as much original metal as possible. You can see there's the original brace on my door shell. Now I started noticing some differences. There's the original. It's probably for a range of options, you know, remote mirror, etc. Here's the Dynacorn. Another thing I did, just to be safe, was I grabbed my mirror bracket. Turns out the Dynacorn brace is not drilled correctly for the early, I'm gonna say the early 68 mirrors, because 68 was a transition year. The early birds, like mine, came with these round mirrors, where the later ones went to the rectangular ones. Now, I don't have a rectangular one on hand to compare to. Well, I suppose I can go take one off of my Chevelle. I'm pretty sure it's all the same, but I'm not gonna do that. You can see that the early bracket, or the original bracket, I don't have a new reproduction to verify, is bigger, which is not a big deal, right? But for me it is, because if I were to use this and the original was the same, I would only be relying on the skin to hold the mirror, not the actual brace in the back screw. I have one, but a big issue that I came across here is the cutouts itself for the mirror. I'm assuming they leave this big hole here for different options like the remote mirror, etc. But what I've noticed is that this mirror, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little bit of the hole showing. My mirror doesn't cover that hole completely. Maybe with the gasket it will, but I don't have a gasket to verify, and I'm not gonna order a mirror. So I'm thinking here, I might weld this hole shut for now. You can see, here's the original. That's how the original is cut out. Another thing I noticed by looking at the outline of where the old mirror was, this one is also drilled lower, so it sits more towards the body line versus the factory. So trying to think here. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna go about it. I do know I have an issue on my hands though. Do I reinstall the brace that I drilled out, put it in, and hope all is well? Do I weld up my brand new door skin and re-drill holes? Do I cut out the piece from the original and transfer it? I have options. Now I don't really want to do too much welding here because it's right in that body line, and not saying that I can't body work it out. You know, I'm just, why ruin something that's already fine? So I'm thinking right now, I'm gonna bring you guys back when I come to a solution here. Well, I came to take a look at the mirror on the Chevelle. This is one of the later model rectangle mirrors. I'm pretty sure it is the same that they used on the late 68s and 69s. And you can see it is complete opposite the shape of the early 68. There goes wide to skinny, where this one goes narrow to wide. So I am pretty sure, 100% sure, that this is going to cover up that hole. So now, how original do I want to stay with this car? It is an early 68. I checked the production. Do I want to keep the round mirrors, or do I want to go with the more common squares? That is the question at hand. And honestly, I think I want to keep it original. I want to keep the round mirrors on it. I pretty much wasted a bunch of time. I've been going about this. I've been looking, measuring, and just things are not working, right? So I got the shell in the door skin. I got it clamped down to get it sucked up, and it's as high as it's gonna go without, you know, doing damage to the top of the skin. But even squeezing it, it doesn't go anymore. The original screw holes are now lower on this versus the original, so my original plate would be even closer. So It didn't get better, it got worse with the original, and I'm trying to figure out why. I grabbed the original skin, and I started measuring, and I'm gonna show you. I found the problem. The original upper brace, that brace right there, is bigger. If you see that, just to make it easier, I put the 2 there. That is a ½ inch. All right, the original door, it's not focusing, is more like 5/8 of an inch. So there's an 1/8 inch difference on the width on the top of the door. So I went and I checked the other aftermarket door, and it's the same, ½ inch. So I can't speak for AMD, I can't speak for OER because I don't have them. This is Dynacorn, and that is also Dynacorn. It looks like Dynacorn stamps their top half of their doors, the complete doors and their skins, 1/8 of an inch smaller. So now I'm pretty much gonna go back. I am gonna weld this guy back on to door skin. I'm gonna end up using the aftermarket because it's just gonna keep things easier. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some modifications though. I'm gonna weld this hole closed, which is gonna allow me to drill a hole later on and have a solid brace to screw my mirror to. Same with the skin. Before I burn it in together, I am gonna weld. I'm probably not gonna fill the whole hole. I don't need to. Everything's got to come up. I'm gonna weld about half of this hole shut because everything's got to come up. The Dynacorn holes are too low from the original, and even with the original brace in, because it can't suck all the way up, it's too low. After messing around with this for a while now, I got the aftermarket brace reinstalled. I screwed it in. I didn't weld it. I left it loose for adjustability. Let me get a light, I'll show you. I did weld up the brace. You can see in there, I welded up that hole just like I said I was going to. I also welded up the 2 screw holes. I'm just gonna re-drill and mount my mirror myself. But one thing I gotta say, that width difference between the original and aftermarket brace was creating a nightmare for me. This skin now fits the shell a lot better with the original brace, being that I couldn't get it to suck down that much. I was having an issue in this area as well. I didn't note that earlier, but now it's fitting wonderfully. Now I'm not going to start folding my edge down yet because I'm going to make a cut here. This is where I repaired the shell. It's not exactly in line with the curve on the skin, and I don't want to deform the body line, so I'm going to modify that real fast. Another thing I'm going to do, you can see I got a marker. I made a mark here. There's not a lot of space here for the skin, so I'm going to take just a tiny bit of material. I'm not even going to take off the marker. That's just showing me where I need to remove a bit of material. Like right here, you can see that edge is sitting over, so I just need to take just a tiny bit off. The bottom is good. We got plenty of space. We got a lot of space right here. That's actually original too. I only replaced up to here. You can see that little high point. That's the patch, and this is the original. But like I said, this is not in. These welds are going to be kind of tricky, but I'm just going to stick the gun in and kind of like burn it, and what I get is what I get. I was going to drill it from the outside for time's sake because I was getting frustrated. I just grabbed the air hammer and I ripped that brace off, and it popped like nothing. This is like the first time on this car I was able to use an air hammer and break the welds like it was nothing without damaging the shell. Normally I damage everything, but I took a chance. You can see the original there. They just popped free. There was barely any penetration on those. Alright, so I modified the shell. I filed the edges down a little bit, took care of that corner. Another thing I did was I punched some holes for some spot welds on these flanges when I'm done. There's a better look at the brace. I filled in the hole and I sealed up the bolts. Show you guys the other side too. I also closed the hole on the skin side as well. I left the 2 holes there. I don't think they were going to be an issue. Just the big one was. Anyways, I'm at the point now where it's time to set the shell in the skin and start hammering. All right, let's get this shell set in place here. Can't really see over here. All right, we're looking good. It's actually been a while since I've done a door skin, like 12 years since I've actually done a door skin. I haven't touched one since my collision days. I've never really done an old car skin. I used to do them all the time when I worked in a collision shop on the new cars, but like I said, that was 12 years ago. Anyways, it's the same process. I never had one of them fancy skinning tools. It would be nice, but like I said, it's been 12 years since I touched one, and they're pretty pricey. Anyways, I do have this. This is a door skin set from Harbor Freight. I didn't buy it for this purpose, to be honest with you. I bought it for the dollies because I think this whole setup was like 35 bucks. But I like this dolly here, so I bought it for that, and I bought it for this. These are nice solid dollies. But it came with this hammer. I might give it a shot. I used to do it with just a regular hammer and a dolly like that, but I'm not going to even use a dolly today because I'm going to try not to damage this. You know, you're using a metal dolly and you're hitting it. The recoil or the rebound causes the front face to get dented up real bad. I'm actually gonna take this off really quick. I want to close up my stand a bit, give myself a little more space. That might be good right there. Didn't really have space to get my dolly. Let me grab some tape. I want to tape this down because I don't want the skin bouncing on that. I want to keep the foam in place. What I need to do, this is an old stand, I need to pick up a couple of those pool noodles and replace these foam pads. Probably order a couple on Amazon. All right, that is a lot better. Want to get it nice and tight up against these two edges. And I'll start folding this lip over now. Get my gloves back on. So to try not and damage the skin, I'm gonna use a block of wood. I also have a rag. I was gonna put some rubber on my dolly, but yeah, I just didn't get to that in time, and I'm ready to do this now. So let's get this tapped in. So what you want to do is when you're starting out, you want to start folding these edges. So don't hit down, you want to hit towards the shell. You want to have constant pressure up and just slowly work it. You're not going to get it in one shot. I'm actually going to go to my regular hammer. I feel better with that. So I got the edge almost all the way down. You can see I left it up, and I did that because now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna hang the door on the car. I'm gonna make sure that it's gonna line up while I got the chance to tweak it. If I can, you know, maybe I could twist it, etc. Or I peel the flange back and reset it. This edge right here is a pain in the butt. There's a lot of stretching going on here. So you got to be patient on this one. Check that out. This is why it is better to skin an original door versus an aftermarket. That door fits good, but it took me a couple hours to get it to fit that way. This door, 5 minutes. I threw it on, made a few adjustments, and just check that out. Look at that gap. Consistent. Body lines are looking good. The bottom's got to come out. I got to remount the hinge a little bit. It's got a new aftermarket hinge on the bottom. But check that out. The line across the door on the bottom is good. This end, I'm not sure if I hit it too hard. It looks like it's rolling in. So we're going to hammer that out. And the door can come just a touch further forward too. But that's a new OER hinge, so I'm gonna slot the door side so I can get this pulled out just a touch. You can see it here too. That's fitting good. You can see the bottom. But guys, that is fantastic. I was a little worried because, you know, like I said, it's been 12 years since I skinned the door. I mean, I'm not done yet, so I guess let me not get ahead of myself. But as of right now, that is smooth as when it came out the box. And then there's a better look of me filling that hole. It needs a little more work. I can feel a little high spot in there. Got to grind that a little more. But yes, I'm very happy. Let me get this thing ripped off and I think we're good. I think we're good to start, you know, hammer it down all the way. Now, I'm still not going to weld it because you never know. I still might need to tweak more. Actually, I might just leave it like this because I might need to tweak more because I got it. It's looking good with the quarter, but when I hang a fender on it, you know, we might need to split the difference here and there. There's one little defect on this skin that is irking me. If you look at this corner, look at how jagged that is. It's driving me nuts. And it's not long enough either. I'm gonna have to add a piece of metal there and roll it to fill in this gap. So I know I said this thing fits phenomenally, and it does, but it isn't without flaws. And that's it for this one. I'm happy I got the doors lined up now. Now I'm gonna move on to the back. I gotta start fitting the trunk lid I'm gonna be using to the car. And once I get all the panels lined up on the main body, I can then start working on doing the rear floor. I probably could do it now, but I just want to have everything lined up before I start cutting stuff. That's just me. That's just the way I want to do it. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Do it your way, do it my way, or whatever makes you sleep better at night. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm happy. You know, seeing some new doors on here, it's definitely making me feel like I'm a lot further along than I actually am. But we're getting there now. I'm hoping to want to get the floor done at minimum before I go back to work. I'm racing, but I got little setbacks that keep hitting me, you know, finding little things that I got to work on beforehand. And I'll get into more of that on the next video. So thanks all you guys for watching. I always appreciate it, and have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you guys on the next one.